All right, how's everyone doing this afternoon? We're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, Washington Capital Area Chapter of ICEA, and welcome to what I believe is our chapter's first ever virtual annual chapter meeting. For those of you who don't recognize my voice, I'm Remy Arnold, your chapter president. I hope everyone is healthy and happy and practicing appropriate social and physical distancing. Real quick, before we go any further, I want to let everyone know that because this is our first time doing this, we're going to keep our use of technology to a minimum to prevent any issues from arising. So this means that everyone's going to be on mute with the exception of the chapter board members who are scheduled to speak. And we're not going to be having an open slot for questions during this presentation. But if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please direct them to either me at president@washingtonicea.com or the appropriate board member. All of our email addresses can be found on our chapter website. Also one other thing, a recording of this meeting is being made and will be made available for later viewing. So let's go ahead and get started. There are a couple of reasons for having a chapter board meeting. Number one is that it is required by our bylaws, but more importantly, it's an opportunity for the chapter board to update the membership on current and future affairs, as well as recognize member accomplishments. Historically, it has also served as a chance to solicit feedback and provide a networking opportunity for our membership. I'm optimistic that our current distancing guidelines will come to an end in a timely manner, and future annual chapter meetings will be able to return to delivering on the social aspect of the annual chapter meeting next year. This past fall, we welcomed in a new chapter board of directors and chairpersons who have been working diligently to establish value-added activities for the chapter in the coming year. You'll be hearing from many of them this afternoon. Last year, the chapter continued its long-established Luncheon Speaker series, the joint chapter workshop and chapter meeting, and held chapter elections. This coming year, and in the spirit of turning current restrictions into opportunities, the chapter board will be looking for ways to continue many of our successful activities in new and creative ways, while offering new opportunities like ICEA After Work and networking events with other professional organizations. Now I'll pass the virtual mic over to the person who keeps me organized and focused, your Vice President, Cami Mann.
Hi all, this is Cami Mann. I'm your current Vice President of the chapter. So Remy, if we could go to the next slide. Part of my duties, besides helping Remy run the chapter, is to ensure we have free and valuable training for all of our members and the DC cost community. So we're very excited this year to continue with our partnership with Technomics with their training session called the Foundations of Cost Analysis. It's a 2-hour-long training held every other Tuesday night, and they work to cover the basics found in the CBOC modules and additional information. So this is an awesome training, especially if you're a younger analyst, you're studying for your certification exam, or you just want to brush up on some of your skills. So the training is still ongoing and being held virtually via WebEx. So you should be receiving those reminder emails via our ICEA listserv, and they're actually having a session tonight on linear regression. So if you're interested in that or need to brush up, you should be able to join that via WebEx. If you don't have that invitation, please let us know and we'll get that forwarded to you. With the cancellation of our annual workshop, we're looking to hold some of our specialized trainings or advanced trainings with our local membership, either in person or via webinar. So if there's anything you'd like to see from those specialized trainings, please contact me and let me know, and we'll try to get that scheduled for everybody. So with that, I am going to hand it off to our treasurer, Max.
Hi, thanks, Cami. Hi, everyone. We're going to quickly go over the chapter's finances. So we can go to slide 8. Thank you. In 2019, the previous treasurer performed an audit of revenues and expenses. And then we worked together in February, and then in March of 2020, we provided the annual chapter financial report to the national office. As treasurer, my primary responsibility is to manage chapter funds, which largely consist of paying for chapter luncheons, the website, and the annual meeting and workshop. The annual meeting and workshop are the chapter's largest expenditures. as you can see on the pie chart to the right, it accounted for 88% of our 2019 expenditures. The cost of the meeting and the workshop are offset by ICEA National Office support and various sponsorships we receive. You can go to the next slide. So in order for our chapter to receive full funding from ICEA National, it's important that our members designate our chapter as their local chapter affiliate on the ICEA National website. So everyone should go on the ICEA website and log in. Once logged in, they can go to their My ICEA profile and then click Edit View Information, as you see on the slide. Next slide. And then from this page, you can scroll down so you see the drop down for chapter affiliate. Click down on that, click on that drop down and select Washington Capital Area from the list. And that's it. So thanks everyone. I'm going to hand off to our program chair, Ann Hopp.
Hi everyone, I'm Ann Hopp, the programs chair. I first wanted to start off by giving a thank you to all the luncheon hosts that we had in 2019. You can go to the next slide. They're listed out. Quebec Consulting, CSBA, which is the Center for Strategic and Budgetary Assessments, Heron Associates, and MITRE. Next slide. So our luncheon presentations this year. We started in March when Tom Sullivan of Heron Associates presented a practical approach to data science and data analytics. We had 36 attendees, which was our most attended luncheon in 2019. I think the topic was very relevant, as it still is today. In April, Jack Bianchi of CSBA presented on estimating Chinese defense expenditures using a strategic choices tool. This was actually a pretty cool presentation that Jack did, and he's actually given an update at Moore's last month, or yeah, I think it was last month. And he was set to give another update at the ICEA National event in May, but that's going to have to be postponed. So hope to hear from Jack again in the future on the updates to this tool. In May, Dave Stem presented on development, aircraft cost estimating, methods, and affordability. This really talked about estimating the cost for the next generation aircraft. It was pretty interesting. Posted out at MITRE. Okay, next slide. In July, Mr. Brian Anderson and George Fair of Quebec presented high maintenance FAA supply chain optimization. And I apologize if you can hear my children screaming in the background. That was at Quebec. These guys talked about machine learning techniques and the stuff that they're doing at the FAA, which was super interesting. In August, Sharon Jackson of DAU presented on DAU certification requirements and training initiatives in the cost estimating career field. This was also hosted out at MITRE. She talked about all the offerings that DAU has for cost estimators as well as other acquisition professionals, and touched on the future of DAU, which was a lot of online offerings that they're developing, which is even more relevant now when we are all now teleworking. So stay tuned for more updates from DAU. I know that they are working to put a lot of their stuff online at a rapid pace. So that was all we had in 2019. We did have one in January. Josh Smith of Heron did Intro to Agile and Jira. And he talked about Agile from a program management approach, and talked about tools that we can use to leverage some of these principles. And I will give you guys a heads up. Our next luncheon will be virtual and will be in June. It will be Ed Kobalarczyk from the census. He's talking about a journey to a reliable estimate, how and why the decennial census program cost estimates went from regularly failing GAO audits to passing and being used as a positive example in the latest GAO cost estimation and analysis guide. So stay tuned to your inboxes. If you guys are not getting emails from ICEA, you can request to be added by going to our website. and requesting access. And we will send you updates monthly for monthly luncheons or other events that are going on. And if you guys know anyone who wants to give a luncheon presentation, or you want to host a luncheon presentation, either virtually or in person after we get out of this telework situation, definitely email me. My email address is on the slides right here. All right, I'm going to pass off to Remy, who's going to talk about our ICEA After Work program.
Thanks, Ann. So to provide a new opportunity for current and next generation leaders of the cost estimating community to learn from the leaders of today and develop their professional networks, ICEA launched a new speaker series this year, ICEA After Work, with our first speaker, Mr. David Burgess, on March 5th. You can follow the link below for more information on the series and keep an eye on your inboxes for future invitations. And because I know everyone has received numerous emails from me, I won't go into too much detail now about the event. So I really do encourage you to take a look at the website. And then if you or someone you know would like to host a future ICEA After Work event, please contact myself at the email address below. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass this over to Eileen Donahue, our Outreach Chair.
Thanks, Remy. As you guys have heard from Remy and Ann, we really want to try to engage the chapter through a variety of activities. As the Outreach Chair, I'm here to help the board in any planning that they need in things like the workshop or the luncheons or after-hour events. And then I'm also the lead on the more social events like the happy hour and volunteering events. Once we're able to, I want to get something scheduled for later this year and as a volunteering event. Some ideas that we're considering are Arlington Cemetery, wreath laying or cleanup, or in years past we've done like donation organizations at a local food bank. That's about it for me. Thanks for your time. I ask that if anyone has ideas for social or volunteer outreach opportunities, please shoot me an email. Next up, we have the web manager and the membership chair, Kevin and Tim.
Yeah, hi everybody. This is Tim Anderson. Kevin can't be here with us today, so I'll talk to the web page also. If you haven't been to our chapter website recently, I really recommend you check it out. If you're, one of those people who last logged on 5 years ago, I think you'll find that it's a lot different than what you have seen in the past. It contains the latest news related to the chapter and its events, provides you with the ability to add, update, and remove your name from our chapter mailing list for announcements about all kinds of things. We're always sending out email announcements and invitations to things like, our chapter luncheons, training events, social and networking events, the annual meeting, and so on. We're also, speaking of training events, we also send out the invitations for the Technomics Training Institute, which, I recommend you check that out at some point. It goes through the CBOC every month, or I think twice a month. There is a dedicated training event that talks about a certain aspect of CBOC, the cost estimating body of knowledge. The website also contains a repository of luncheon presentations dating all the way back to 2003. And every time we have a luncheon, the slide deck gets added to the repository. The website also contains other important links like, links to ICEA National, the AACE International Conference, more, ZVM World, but it also has things like our chapter newsletters, our chapter documents such as the Constitution and bylaws, our calendar of events, the annual conference, and our our certified cost estimating and analysis certification program. And another interesting thing that some of you might be interested in is the Cost Estimating Career Center. So there's a link to that takes you over to the ICEA National site that has a listing of available cost estimating jobs. So recommend you check that out. Your chapter also has a presence on social media. We have a Facebook group that provides frequent announcements and information, and likewise we have a LinkedIn group that similarly provides that sort of information. So I encourage you to, in terms of social media, I encourage you to search for the Washington Capital Area chapter of ICEA if you want to be in the know. Finally, I just want to make a few comments on membership. I don't have a slide for this, but this will just take a moment. But I really recommend that everybody who considers themselves a member of the cost community join ICEA as well as your local chapter. Because by doing so, this gives you access to information and invitations to networking opportunities, information and discounts to the national conference, information about chapter events, and it also provides you with professional recognition and gives you the opportunity to obtain certification by a professional society in your profession. Just remember, ICEA is your professional society as a member of the cost community. It's here to serve you. It's here to provide you with training, networking, professional development opportunities, and I'll tell you this, it's one of the least expensive organizations you will ever find to join. Some of these are pretty expensive, and ICEA is inexpensive by comparison. So I highly recommend you consider becoming an ICEA member if you are not one already. If you do want to do that, you can go to www.iceaonline.com, and when you join ICEA, you also have the opportunity to align with a chapter. And if you're if you're a cost professional in the greater DC area, then you should choose to align with the Washington Capital Area chapter as our treasurer previously described. So become a member if you're not one already. It's a good investment in your profession. All right, having said that, I think up next we have chapter awards, and I'll let the chapter awards person take it from here.
Thanks, Tim. This is Courtney Siles. I am the chapter secretary, so we're going to take a few minutes and recognize some of the accomplishments from our members in our chapter and their contributions to the cost community. Next slide, please. So for those of you who are new to ICEA, this slide gives a good overview of the awards process. In January, an email gets sent out to all chapter members calling for nominations for the awards that you see on the left of your slide. So to nominate a colleague, we ask for a 1 to 2 page narrative on why the nominee exemplifies the criteria that's set for that award, and then you're given about a month to submit those. The Luncheon Speaker Award at the top, that one is based on the results of those surveys that are provided following the luncheons, but the other 4 are selected through a panel review that is made up of past chapter presidents. And this year, that panel included Megan Kennedy, Jeff Moore, Dan Schluckabeer, and Dave Stem. So we would like to extend a huge thank you to all of those who reviewed these submissions. And we also want to thank all of you who nominated someone and the nominees for their hard work. It's a great way to recognize your colleagues. So please keep that in mind through the rest of this year, and then be on the lookout next January for the next call for nominations. Next slide. So first up, we have the Luncheon Speaker 2019 presenters. And the nominees for that was Thomas Sullivan from Heron Associates, Jack Bianchi of CSBA, Dave Stem of AFCA, Brian Anderson and George Bayer of Quebec Consulting, and Sharon Jackson of DAU. And the winner is, next slide, Thomas Sullivan of Heron Associates. Thomas Sullivan has over 13 years of financial cost modeling and business strategy experience across the commercial and federal sectors. On March 6, 2019, he served as the chapter's luncheon speaker and presented a practical approach to data science and data analytics, which discussed how the fields of data science and data analytics are growing in the commercial sphere, DoD, and academia. Tom's presentation examined an approach for addressing the challenges faced in trying to leverage data science and data analytics with the goal of implementing open source software and data visualization tools to efficiently and effectively improve budgeting and cost estimating. Congratulations, Tom. Next slide. For team achievement, we had the Defense Acquisition University BCF 331 development team of Heron Associates, the Defense Cost and Resource Center team of Technomics, the Joint Agile Software Innovation Cost Integrated Product team that is made up of DHS CAD, NGA, NSA, OD&I, and Quaternion Consulting, and the Rapid Turnaround Cost Tool Development team of Heron Associates and NCCA. And the winner is, next slide, Jazzy Cost IPT, and that team is made up of Katie Geyer-Narega, Cami Mann, Ryan Hong, Lyle Patashnik, David Siever, Michael Bond, and Paul Simmerman. The Joint Agile Software Innovation Cost Integrated Product team is an intergovernmental team formed in 2018 for the purposes of improving estimating methods and bettering processes to monitor the development of software in agile environments. The team created an original method for estimating software development costs called Simplified Function Point Analysis, SFPA for short, and established a standard lexicon of verbs for the critical pattern matching technique, which serves as a key for using SFPA. Using a progress tracking tool, the team can apply these SFPA results to monitor software development efforts, which has become an essential part of the DHS Acquisition Review Board process for high visibility agile programs. Presently, the Jazzy Cost IPT is working toward publishing an open source handbook for implementing their method and developing a natural language processing tool for sizing software programs. Congratulations, Jazzy Cost IPT. Next slide, please. For the Leadership Management Award, we have Eileen Donahue of Technology Research, Stuart Dornfeld of Quebec Consulting, and Emily Haggerty of Technomics. And the winner is, next slide, Stuart Dornfeld. Stuart Dornfeld, a certified PMP and CCEA, serves as Associate Director at Quebec Consulting and has over 30 years of experience in acquisition, budgeting, and cost estimating. Leading a team of cost analysts, schedulers, and systems engineers, Stu currently oversees his company's support of an FAA supplemental enterprise system that will provide operationally essential information to air traffic management personnel. He is working with the development team to create a dashboard that will allow the FAA program manager to view real-time information in a useful interactive format in order to increase the program's likelihood of success. Additionally, Stu assisted with the recent CBOC editing effort, reviews submitted abstracts for the National ICEA workshop, and promotes ICEA membership and certification within his company. Congratulations, Stu. Next slide, please. For the Technical Achievement Award, the nominees are Orly Olbum of Technomics, Benjamin Truskin of Technomics, and Pamela Wood of Aerospace Corporation. And the winner is, next slide, Orly Olbum. Orly Olbum, a senior associate at Technomics, has played a significant role in furthering the cost community's understanding of cloud migration and sustainment requirements and cost. Orly was integral to not only establishing the methodology by which programs should evaluate potential cloud hosting solutions, but also developing standards and the terminology and templates that support cost estimating best practices, acting as a key contributor to the development of a process breakdown structure, work breakdown structure, framework for a business case analysis, and the first cloud cost analysis requirements description. She has also made noteworthy contributions to studying how machine learning can be applied to cost estimating, creating an application that uses 20 variables simultaneously, and proving her machine learning to be significantly superior to estimates based on the classical linear regression model. Congratulations, Orly. Next slide. And finally, for the Junior Analyst Award, we have Ben Berkman of Technomics, Justin Cooper of Technomics, Zachary Donchez of Heron Associates, Ryan Hong of DHS CAD, Lindsay Lawrence of Integrated Finance and Accounting Solutions, Jonathan Schuster of Technology Research, Courtney Siles of Technology Research, and Tyler Staffen of Technomics. And the winner is, next slide, please, Zachary Donchez. Zachary Donchez has been supporting NCCA since joining Heron Associates 1.5 years ago and is the architect of the Rapid Turnaround, or RT, cost tool, which is an Excel-based future years cost tool that forecasts the Navy's total obligation authority based on a set of inputs. Zach built the RT cost tool from scratch, developing cost estimating relationships using 20 years of historical budget data and leveraging statistical software to automate this process. For his contributions, Zach received a letter of appreciation from the NCCA director and now serves as the team lead for this project. He has also supported the organization with more traditional cost estimating and research efforts through his work on the Collaborative Cost Research Library and the Sustainment Independent Cost Estimate for the FFGX program. Zach is a PCEA and will be presenting on 2 topics during this year's National ICO workshop. Congratulations, Zach, and congratulations to all of our winners. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Remy for closing remarks.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Thank you, Courtney, and thank all of our nominees and our winners for your contributions to our cost community. And thank you to all of our attendees for joining us today. This concludes our 2020 Washington Capital Area Chapter meeting. If you have any questions or comments, please direct them to me or the appropriate chapter board members or chairpersons. Also, please keep an eye out on your emails for invitations and announcements regarding upcoming events. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.